Hey, I'm Decathlon Gamer, and this is the weekly review special for week 21 of the Gaming Decathlon competition. This week I brought in 2,758 points, a small increase from a week ago, but well short of our best round score by almost 2,000 points, which was, 13 weeks ago now? Current virtual best at an even 3,200. It is 100 better than a week ago, and the all-time virtual best, small increase to 7,834. Now, main reason for the stagnation in score, while some scores went up, we had another new series start this week, which eliminated a score from the board. So we dropped a couple hundred points. The new score is right at 0. So we gained a little over 200 points through the rest of the titles. Breaking down the games individually, PCM 19 in the career mode. There's the 34 to that all-time virtual best increase as we now hit 854. We are now into the Tour de France. We're only at that point in the season. It's July. We still have a few months to go. I think 1,000 is well on its way. And through the first 3 stages, we're in a pretty strong position with 3 riders in the top 10. But there's 18 stages to go, so long ways yet. In the stage racer, at the Giro, still, I'm competing in the Giro after a slow start to that race where we were down the order a little bit. Multiple negative race day conditions. This time, things have leveled off a bit. Some zeros. I even had a +1. And instantly, we start turning it around and moving up. So we've gone from 7th up to 3rd. And the Women's Tour, progressing through the season really nicely, considering it's only our 2nd season. I thought I was still going to struggle, but be a little more competitive. Actually, I've now had 4 wins. We had 1 last year. One that counts. We've had 4 now. And showing to be a force to be reckoned with at continental level. Not dominant in any way, shape, or form, but looking towards continued growth in the future. It's still going to be a difficult recruiting year. We're so far down the pecking order, it's really hard to get riders, but we're going to eliminate a lot of really poor riders, so we actually have a good amount of money to spend. Hopefully we could actually turn that into some amount of recruitment, though, because favorability, nothing. There's not one rider who wants to join our team. There's a few riders who would be, okay, it's a job. And then there's 100 or so riders that are like, I don't hate your guts, but I don't like you either. So that's the main targets for next season, is trying to get them out of that area and into the kind of range. Jeff J Sports Pro Basketball playoff time, and we have made it to the conference finals. So, big surprise. We've gotten around further than I thought we were going to. I thought we were going to get 2nd round. I didn't think we would get to 3rd. We've done so. We're into the 3rd round. We're going to be playing the LA Clippers for the Western Conference Championship. Out of the Park Baseball 21, still off-season. I've spent a bit too long on the off-season, so I'm speeding that up so we can get to the new season. I've picked up a lot of tricks now through this 2nd season. Things that I didn't quite know the 1st season, things I didn't know last time I played OTP, either through various changes that there was a few years ago, or I didn't get deep enough into that game to learn about. My last full-blown, headfirst dive was probably 6 years ago in OOTP, so it was the 15 or 16 edition. The game's evolved a lot since then, so there's a lot of little nuances that I didn't know about. That held me back a bit in the 1st season. I think it hurt us a bit in the 2nd season, so as much as I made growth in the 1st season, I hurt myself at the same time heading into Season 2. Now I think I'm in a much much stronger position heading into Season 3. Not that we are headed towards being a winning team yet. I'm talking mostly about farm system, which is really what it takes to build Powerhouse long term. FS19, new series, the Valley, the old farm, a scenario that I couldn't be happier with, that those who have seen it seem to like it because more than 50% of the views have resulted in a click of the like button. Those who have seen it, thank you. Those who haven't seen it, please do, because that's the problem. As much as popular as it has been with those who have seen it, not many people have seen it. So algorithm's not picking it up despite the like click rate is supposed to be a boost to it. Channel size is supposed to be a boost to it. So far, neither of them have given it any sort of boost, oddly enough. So hopefully, somewhere, somehow, it'll get picked up by the algorithm, even if only slightly. That continues to be my hope for FS19. I want it to be one of the channel staples. So far, that keeps betraying me over and over again. I introduce a new series, and it gets 10, 15 views in the first episode. When I get 10 or 15 views in the second episode, it's like, hey, retention, great, awesome. But it's that first episode, it's that start point. And until the algorithm picks one of those up, I'm just struggling to swim. The scenario, we have everything. There was a region that went bankrupt. Large company came in, bought it all for $3 million in auction. Sent 2 contractors in, my dad and I, sent 2 contractors in with all of their powerful equipment, as the large company is an agricultural company. Sent them in with tons of heavy equipment, but also sent them in with that $3 million debt. So they bought all the land in the region. Our job is to spend 1 year refurbishing all that land, increasing the value, and then they're going to start selling that land off piecemeal after the series is done and over with. So in 1 year, our goal is to turn the land around, make it profitable, but also pay off that $3 million debt so that they're starting from blank slate when they sell all that land, and the company plans to make a massive profit off of that. But as a $3 million debt from the bank, we are paying the daily interest on that. So we've got to pay it down as quickly as possible while working all of the fields. At this point in time, we have gotten into our first round of seeding. First phase, anyway. First phase is the north of the river. It's basically about a third of the map, maybe slightly more than a third of the map, about 35%. And we have plowed the fields that needed plowing. We have fertilized most of the fields that needed fertilization, though some of them will need another round later on. And now we are seeding the fields. We've got a long ways to go on that. And in the meantime, through all of that, we had no money to begin with and a $3 million debt. So we had to come up with money for fertilizer. We tried lime, but it was too expensive. And now seeding. So we've needed money for seeds. And we've had to have money, as we're on to day number 2, $8,000 worth of interest each day while we sit at a $3 million loan. So we had to get into forestry in order to make a quick buck to handle the immediate expenses that hopefully through farming will accumulate large sums of money later on when they're ready to harvest. We have seasons on that we can then use to pay off the debt for the most part, though we'll hopefully get some of the debt through the forestry paid off. Fun series, like I said, it's well liked from those who have seen it so far, just not seen by many. If you've never seen Farm Sim, Please do check it out. If you have, definitely check it out, as it has been a series that has gone well with those that have seen it. Last Frontier, done. Didn't want to run both series at the same time. Last Frontier, tons of potential to quickly grow and expand and earn a lot of points. I ended at 75. I bought 2 fields in the final 2 episodes. But as much as I could grow rapidly now, grow for who? That's the problem with FS19. Like I said, as every series starts with very few views. The retention is good, but building the base audience is what is necessary. And so I've got to try to recycle, because if you haven't noticed by now, any YouTube gamer especially, their series always, first episode is always going to have the most views. Every once in a while, the 5th might have more than the 4th, or the 20th might have more than the 19th, by small margins. Various factors, weekend, later in the day, nothing else coming out, holidays, whatever it may be. Lots of factors go into it. Content within an episode can often create a boost, but in a long series, guaranteed, first episode will always be the most viewed. So I need first episodes. So I recycle until we can build an audience. Anyway, SnowRunner, my current flagship, other than, of course, PCM 19. 7 days a week, episode every day. This last week I actually had a bonus episode on one day, so we had 8 episodes. I've already filmed a couple weeks ahead of time. I will wrap that series up at some point as I get busy with other new incoming series. But SnowRunner, for now, is my main staple. And after some difficult periods of time that unfortunately hurt my viewership a bit on that series, where things really dragged on and slowed to a crawl, I learned some lessons through my own gameplay, through observing some others who have the Mud Runner or Spin Tires experience prior to SnowRunner. Had a leg up on me, competition-wise, and figured it out, and have now really picked up the pace. So the series has gained a lot of momentum, and the quality of the episodes is so much better. But my retention wasn't so great through that slow period where I struggled mightily. So that's one of the only reasons why this won't be a 100 episode plus series like my PCM ones. Otherwise it absolutely would be, because I love it. It is a fantastic game. And if you did step away from SnowRunner, you were viewing it and it got too slow for you, skip 8-10 episodes. Jump back in at 20, 22, 23. Things will pick back up again, and it gets good. So if you did step away from that series, maybe you want to give it another chance, because I'm getting into better vehicles and maneuvering around much easier and not struggling so much. In terms of recording, I'm a couple weeks ahead, but I've got 5 maps unlocked and lots of vehicles unlocked, and I'm moving at a much quicker pace. I'm completing tasks and contracts and unlocking watchtowers and upgrades, multiple ones within episodes. At times, game still slows itself down. It gets challenging and difficult. It's just the nature of the game, but not to the extent that I was previously. Gears Tactics retired early. Zero to Hero has retired recently, and that spot is already refilled with a game that's had its first couple episodes put out already by this point. It's going to be a short series. It's not going to be a long series. It's a game that came out last year that I found interesting. Thought I'd put out a little content for it. If for some reason it did well, I would do a longer series. But the first episode, like a small channel like mine, as there is with a limited amount of algorithm boost, to anything that I do starting out, unless it's a brand new game that was just released. No surprise, as expected. And it's also a grind fest. It's slower than SnowRunner in certain ways, and that is Ancestors, Humankind Odyssey. Interesting game. Love the concept. But the gameplay is not, let's say, pristine. Like I said, it is a little bit of a grind fest. And there's no tutorial, and it's very complex, and you don't automatically have things. You have to learn and adapt on the fly. And I really start to figure that out by about episode 3. I really figure out some of the nuances of the game, some of the mechanics of the game that really will allow progression to speed up a little bit. But every time you come across something new, you've got to figure out how to use it. And it's always combinations of buttons. There's no one way to do things. There's no button mashing like other gameplay. And so the complexity of button combinations to make things happen is a total mystery, and you've got to sort it out. And that's the point of the game, is its ancestral evolution of humankind. So meaning you start out as an early ape, you're learning how to do things to evolve generationally and down the line, and the game covers 8 million years as you progress. Right now I've covered 15 years. Got a ways to go. Long ways to go. But like I said, I'm figuring out the basics of it, and that's a real start. But that's going to do it for this review special. On the all-time virtual best side, PCM19 career mode gained points but not a position. Outside looking in, Gears Tactics was retired, so SnowRunner replaces it on the list. It moved up a couple spots from where it was, and Draft Day Sports Pro Basketball moved up 10 spots, but it's still well outside of the top 10. And so that's that. I moved up 1 spot compared to the real world landmarks. So not a big movement this week, as it was only an increase of 34 points. But thanks for tuning in. I'll see you next time. Have a good week, and bye for now.